I should not be talking about this story, but I have to. Because wherever there's news about football, I am always going to consume it. And when it becomes something that I believe that every single person needs to know about, especially because it makes it so important for every single football fan to be able to understand, I have to bring it to you guys. And the news is Andrea Pirlo is going to be Italy's new head coach. Now, that is if he actually gets his way. That is if the Italian Federation actually doesn't get cold feet. That is if all this saga that is surrounding him and the choice of making him the head coach actually goes away. Now, let me tell you something that is happening. Let's get it straight. Pirlo is in a peculiar situation. It's a sandwich full of mess. But I want to absolutely break it down for you guys, tell you guys the whole story about what is going on here. And bear with me because it is going to be a whole entanglement of just ins and out. But before we get into the details of everything that's going on a little bit, let's take it back so you guys can understand the context of everything. How did we get here? Italy has been without a coach since Gereno Gattuso resigned on April 3rd, following a brutal playoff exit against Bosnia and Herzegovina, a 1-1 draw, then a 1-4 loss on penalties. That defeat means Italy will miss the World Cup again, having not featured in the tournament since Brazil 2014. It's now 3 consecutive tournaments missed, when before 2018, Italy hadn't missed the World Cup since 1958, a genuine crisis for the 4-time world champion. The chase for a bigger name came first. About this whole situation, the technical director, Paolo Maldini, who I absolutely love, and if you watch football in the 2000s or even early 1900s, you would absolutely appreciate the person that I'm talking about in Paolo Maldini. And his advisor, Leonardo, I hope that's how you pronounce his name. It went broke initially. Carlo Ancelotti was the approach first, but he chose to honor his commitment with Brazil, even though he's Italian. And then they pivot to Pep Guardiola. That was the next in line, but he turned it down for reasons beyond money. He wants a full-time break. He wants a sabbatical after coaching for a decade at Manchester City. Guardiola was also said to be seeking around 20 million euros a year. Why? Well, that's definitely beyond the Italian Federation has to pay any manager. And then it fell to Andrea Pirlo. He entered the mix, and it wasn't clean. Universally, a popular call for sure. The main reasons though, Maldini and Leonardo turned to him because of the close bond that they have as a former Milan AC. Plus, he's regarded as Ancelotti's regards Ancelotti as his mentor, based on coaching and everything. But this is the juicy part. This is the juicy subplot that everybody needs to know. The Federation President, Giovanni Malago, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, his favorite candidate was reportedly Roberto Mancini. But Maldini, who had only been handed the power to choose the coach 2 weeks earlier, and Leonardo overruled Malago. Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. They overruled him and picked Pirlo instead. You get me? Mancini, who left his post and was ready for a second stint as the Italy manager, is said to feel abandoned in this situation, and the decision reportedly doesn't have universal support inside the federation. That is one. The second thing is Pirlo's actual coaching resume is genuinely filled with mixed bag, which is part of why this is such a controversial topic. He became Juventus under-23 manager in 2020 and was promoted to the senior job just days later, winning the Coppa Italia and the Supercoppa before leaving in 2021. He then took the side Fayet Karagumruk, hope that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I butchered it, for a season in 2022, departing by mutual consent. Before a spell at Sampdoria in Serie B from 2023 that ended very badly in 2024. Since July 2025, he's been managing UAE Pro League side United FC. Now, keep in mind United FC, because this is going to come back in full circle. This would be his 5th coaching job since retiring as a player in 2017. On paper, the deal is basically done. Reports point to 4-year contract worth roughly 1.5 million euros a season, according to Football Italia. That's considerably less than what Guardiola, Ancelotti, Conte, and Mancini were reportedly seeking. Maldini is said to be planning a long-term rebuild, starting as far down as 12 and 13-year-old prospect, and 8 to 10 years project. That is what Maldini is looking at, while somehow also needing a functioning senior team ready for the Nations League action in a matter of weeks, plus the Euro 2028 qualification on the horizon. Now, the actual snag in this whole situation, and it's absolutely fresh. As recently as Friday, multiple Italian outlets had the announcement landing this weekend by Monday and Tuesday. Then it hit turbulence. Pirlo had been a global brand ambassador for FonBet, a Russian sporting betting platform, since last October. This is what has been reported, by the way. He attended a company event in Moscow as recently as May. Then the Italian consumer group, Cons, I think that's how you pronounce their name, is now threatening legal action to block his appointment over it, and says he could be fined 20% of the sponsorship value if a challenge succeeds. A problem sitting at the intersection of Italy's strict gambling promotion rules and the current club. His lawyers say the link runs through United FC Dubai. Remember, I told you guys to remember the name United FC Dubai, whose owner Sergei Lomakin, Jesus, Lord of mercy, Lomakin holds interest in FonBet, meaning it would lapse automatically once Pirlo leaves the club. But the defense just got shakier because Lomakin has now publicly denied any connection between himself, United FC, and FonBet at all. FIGC president Lamargo reportedly wants the whole thing clarified before anything is signed. And the Sunday papers are framing it as a real mess. Corriere dello Sport's line situation literally says Pirlo splits Italy. Sports Minister Andrea Pirlo has offered only a lukewarm show of support, and both Conte and Mancini are being floated again as fallbacks if the federation gets cold feet. So what do we absolutely take in this situation? Strongly, we can expect contract terms are basically agreed, but genuinely not signed, not sealed, not announced as of today. With the Russian sponsorship storm actively holding things up, it is going to be a torrid time for the Italians. And this comes in a time where you would think the appointment of Maldini and Leonardo gave a lot of hope and excitement to the Italian people. You would think that would into the run for the Nations League. However, this just became another blow to the liver. It's a liver shot to the Italian people's excitement. And it's quite disappointing. But I wanted you guys to know what is happening in the Italian Football Federation. What is happening in the appointment of the next manager for Italy. They wanted to go for Ancelotti. He refused. He's staying in Brazil. They wanted to go for Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola wants a sabbatical, and they would not be able to pay Pep Guardiola. The names that I also touted right now is the likes of Mancini, Conte, and the rest of them. But Maldini chooses Pirlo. Not because Pirlo has a stellar career, but because he knows what Pirlo wants to achieve and they are on the same page. So the question in this particular one is that, is the Football Federation going to get cold feet and back out of this deal or back out of this fight in getting Andres Pirlo as their head coach? Or go spend a little bit more money to get Mancini or Antonio Conte? I'll keep you guys updated with this story. Make sure you guys keep the like button, turn on your notifications, so when we bring back this story or the conclusion, you would absolutely not miss out on anything. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.